Okay, loving doing lives every week. I think it's so important, especially for caregivers, to check in and just also see what we can do to help ourselves to limit the overwhelm, to get more tools in our tool belt of like getting the support we need and boundaries we need to put in place and all the things. So today I'm covering a lot. I recently created a reel. I don't know if you saw it, but it was about how it's unpopular opinion that if you have to be a full-time caregiver to be in the sandwich generation. I saw something online about it and I was like, this is crazy, because everybody in the sandwich generation, no matter your situation, whether your parent lives in your house, down the street, or across the country, you are in the sandwich generation. You're having to deal with it emotionally or in some sort of capacity. You are in the sandwich. And so I never want anyone to feel like if your situation isn't like your friends or someone else's, that it's not valid for you. It is so your own situation, and that is enough. So just want to start off with that, because I think it's so crazy that people are like, well, you don't have it as hard as me. It's kind of, I don't know if you have how many kids you have, but we have 3. And I remember my friends that only had 1 kid that would be like, oh, well, it's so much harder for you. And I was like, no, it's not. It's all relative. Like, it's hard. When I had 1, it was hard. And when I had 2, it was hard. And when I had 3, it was hard. So I know what having 1 kid is like, and it was hard. So I never want people to look at me or look at anyone else and say either they have it harder or that they're not enough or that they have it harder than someone else. So I always we're all in this together, and we need each other as community and also relatedness to get through this huge chapter in our lives that really no one prepared us for. And I'm always here to share. My mom is 90. She has Alzheimer's. She happens to live with us. I happen to be your main caregiver. But even if she didn't live here, it would be really hard. When she didn't live with us, it was very hard for me. It was hard to go to her retirement home, go see her, go help her, and get back to my own family. I mean, that is the sandwich. So it was hard then, it's hard now. And I always try and share the light, because I never want anyone in the sandwich generation, no matter your situation, to feel alone or overwhelmed in this. So that is why I share like what's going on for me, what's really helping me out. And when I work one-on-one with people, I do a lot of care chats and guidance sessions. So I help people in their unique situation not feel overwhelmed and not feel alone. And this is a lot of things that I'm hearing. And so I want to share on a mass scale on these lives that people are like, oh my gosh, that helps. And also for me. So today we're covering boundaries, how to delegate more, and why boundaries are really helpful. So when we come in with helping our parents, we come in, I always say 60 miles per hour. It's like this slow, it's really gradual. It's you're coming in and you're like, oh my gosh, they fell or it's something, and you're having to say yes to a lot. So it kind of is this slippery slope where all of a sudden you're like, wow, my plate is full. I'm handling so much. And you feel like you're drowning. At least that's how it happened for me. And when my mom, it was like she needed to downsize. Oh, she needed someone to pay her bills. Oh, she needed someone to be watching what she ate. Oh, she needed medication management. And it was just like this, one thing after another, and then moving her. And then all of a sudden it was just my own family, my own kids were like, resentful, and they were frustrated because I was so busy handling a lot of stuff for my mom. And so that's when it was a good wake up call. And I was like, I can't do this all. I can't do it all. And I got help. So one thing is, usually it's a default daughter, but there's always one adult child. If you're an only child, yes, that's going to be you. But in a family that has multiple children, sorry, I'm trying to sit up because I feel like the camera's so high, but you're going to have the default child, whether that child lives the closest or is most involved with the parent. And then you have other siblings, most likely, again, unless you're the only child. And so, like I said, it just happens that your plate gets so full and you're saying yes to everything. So I wrote down a couple things, and this is how I stay on task and keep these short and bite-sized. But instead of solving every issue that comes across your way with your parents, here's a couple good things to ask. Number 1, who else can help me with this, of your friends, family, whoever. Does this require me? Like when my mom gets a blood test, I'm like, does this require me? No, it doesn't. I don't have to take her. If it's a doctor's appointment, it requires me because I oversee her medical care and I need to know all the things. Blood test, I'm not required. I have her caregiver, Sally, take her to those. So it saves me the bandwidth there. And then also, can I delegate part of this? That's the third question I ask. So either you're delegating it to a family member, of a sibling, or a friend, or a caregiver. And how you can like ask a sibling to do it is being specific. So not getting in that like, oh my gosh, it's all me, no one's helping me out. That is kind of that like conundrum and what do you call that? You're spiraling out of control. And I've done it. I can say this because I've done it. And I'm like, oh my God, it's all on me. And da da da. And then I was like, wait, I started looking and asking those 3 questions. Am I required for this? Can I get someone else to ask and take part of this over, or can I delegate that? Like 3 of those questions. And then I got out of it. And then being very specific with who you need it from. Can you take this on? Or can you help me with XYZ? Being very specific. And I always say it helps to write down everything you're handling and then really looking at those areas and combing through with those 3 questions, I think is super helpful. Also building that support system. So this is including your family members, doing group chat texts and just keeping everyone updated and then saying, hey, who can take this on or whatever. And then friends, your community programs, which I have mentioned many times because it's so awesome. My mom, she has cognitive challenges such as Alzheimer's, but there is adult community center activities and she's in a class that's 4 hours every week. That has helped me a lot. It's where I drop her off, like kindergarten drop off and pick up. And then I like get to go run errands and it's a respite class. So it's for the caregiver to then go have some time without caregiving. So it's such a lifeline. I think it's amazing. They're very popular in all different areas. So definitely look up your adult community center and see what classes are available for seniors. Even my mom before that was in a watercolor class and it was like an hour and a half and I would just drop her off, run some errands. It was amazing. So that's really helpful. Other ways you can get support system is meal delivery. You can get home care involved. Like, we have Sally, but you can get different services to do the things where you're like, I'm not needed for this. I can delegate it out. So that's a couple things I wanted to cover today. And then also sibling challenges. When I'm saying, I'm sure if you're kind of being triggered when I'm saying ask family for help, sibling challenges is one of the biggest things that comes up for people when I talk to them one-on-one and they're like, well, so-and-so doesn't live close and they're not helping out at all. Or they're just like but when you get specific with them and even from afar, siblings can help with stuff. They can help with medication management. They can, if your parent needs if they're at fall risk and they need that button or the emergency call thing, they can put that in place. There's so many things that they can do from far away, obviously not taking them to a doctor's appointment or doing the physical on-site things, but they can line up a meal delivery. They can do a lot of things. Just look through that list of items that you're like, these are all on my plate, and then start deciding what you can do. And telling them, again, that specificity is, I'm like, specificity, I'm like, gotta really be aware when you're talking about that word, because I was like, but being specific is the biggest help, and having them take responsibility for one of those items off your plate. And if they're just not willing to be involved, I would lean on other siblings, and also, having that conversation, just be like, I'm doing it all, but I need help. Are you willing to do this? And ask them point blank. And if they're not, that's a whole other thing. And I'm so sorry. I feel for you because this is kind of common. Or they just kind of just aren't involved. that is a lot. I do a lot of care chats about this, and I think a big thing that comes up for people in the sandwich generation is those old like dynamics, those old family dynamics that come up, and it's triggering, it's frustrating, it's heartbreaking, it's a lot of things. So get support in other places if you cannot find it with your siblings or family members, because you definitely, having boundaries is so important for you as the main caregiver to not drown in this, because if you drown, you're no good to anyone else. And it's a show of love, having boundaries. I'm laughing because just this morning, my mom she's lovely. I'm so lucky because a lot of people with cognitive challenges get grumpy. And my mom, for the most part, is great. And she's grateful. And I'm so very lucky. But this morning, she doesn't like to take her showers. And she doesn't like when I have to get dressed right away, but we had to go to this appointment. So I was like telling her some stuff, and she got a little grouchy with me. And I was like, I was like, you know what? I am trying to take care of you in the best way possible. I love you, but I'm just going to put your breakfast right here. You can either have your toast warm or cold. Totally up to you, but this is my boundary. I'm putting it down. I'm not going to make sure you get up to it today because I'm about to lose my mind. And just setting those little boundaries that keep your sanity intact, I think, is so important. And again, it is a sign of love and sanity for yourself. And that is the goal. It's the goal for you not to suffer and drown in all this, and to be able to keep showing up. And I really, truly believe that having those boundaries in place and making sure you're delegating specifically, and asking those 3 questions. Can I get help with this? Am I needed for this? And can I delegate part of this? Those are 3 things in your list that I think will really, really help you out. And again, saying yes to everything, it creates resentment. So no one's winning. It's like when you had children and no one's winning for having the hardest labor. So you saying yes to everything when you can't do it all, no one's winning in that. And especially not your family. Everyone's getting your leftovers, your burnout energy. No one's winning, especially not you. So I am just here to help with suggestions, help with reminding you of what's reasonable, some other ideas, and always, always here to remind you of how awesome, needed, and appreciated you are for wanting to help your parent in the first place. If you haven't, check out my ebook. I'm like, here's the physical copy, but I'm mostly selling ebooks because it's so hard to get these out. But this is my book. I'm so proud of it. It's like a roadmap, and it covers everything from starting the conversation all the way through end of life, like how many death certificates you would need. I mean, things that you don't want to stay up at night Googling. And it covers care questions if you're getting care of any sort, of what you can ask people when you're looking into long-term care, things to look for, medical questions, keeping your parent hydrated, making sure if they haven't had their hearing checked, or getting their hearing aids updated, sibling challenges, self-care ideas, because that is so, so important. I keep peppering that through the book, but it really is like a roadmap, because it's every chapter you be going through when you're in the sandwich generation. So again, that very beginning, starting that conversation, getting those first 2 very important things in place legal wise, like a power of attorney and medical directive. And then also it has financial things. It covers it all. And I made it so you didn't have to read the whole thing. It's only 112 pages and it's a large font, but I didn't want it to be like one of those books that we had when our kids were little, and we had all those parenting books, and we were hoping for osmosis to happen, because who has time to read that when you're in overwhelm? So this, I say book, but it's like a workbook, and it is just so, and in the ebook, you can click on which chapter you're like, oh, I need to know more about that. So anyway, I'm just trying to show up every week, because I'm working on starting a community for caregivers, that we can support each other. We can get listening partners that I talked about last week, and I also made a reel about, which I think is the best thing. It's like free therapy, and it's how to let that steam out when you're feeling that overwhelm and you're stressed and you're feeling alone. It's feeling held and supported, and I think that's what excites me the most is creating a community and not feeling alone in this, because that's what really killed me at first too, is like you just feel like no one else is going through this, and it's heavy, it's overwhelming, it's sad, and I'm just trying to be the light in a lot of this dark chapter in our lives. So I am so glad to see you today, and always DM me with any questions or any topic that you're like, I need help with this. Always happy to cover it. So excited. I have some speaking gigs coming up, and excited to get more of the word out there and help people in the same generation. So sending you a huge hug and a high five, and I hope you go rock the rest of your day.